And with that, we should be live. Yes, I believe we're live now. Hello everyone. It is I, the Joju of the 997s, and we are back today with another episode, adjusting mic, on the Shamblecraft server. I was taking a minute to set up all my equipment because it wasn't all set up properly. Thought I'd do that before stream this time, but I have. And now we should be here. Okay, we are safely ensconced in this house that we built mostly last stream. May have done some work to finish up the walls off camera, just didn't want to leave that hanging. I'm noticing now that as I stand here that it could do with a little more floor, so let's fix that. Floor is fixed. Okay, it is also raining, which I can't do much about. Do I have an axe? No. Okay. So if I recall correctly, the goal I set this stream is to get diamond and get good. So we are going to head back down to the mines and start doing just that. Is that coming through okay? My sense of balance is not. Okay, this is a thing I didn't think through. So let's just do that quickly. Okay, sounds good. Sorry. Oh, game sounds might not be on. That's a good point. Okay, we set it to 20 last time. I think we set it to 20 last time. Okay, let's do that then. Okay. That should be good on that front. I don't have a bed and I don't have food, both of which are going to be problems, I think. Maybe I should have gone for a sheep first. Would have been smart. But I have written down the coordinates, so there should not be any unfortunate accidents. You'd think with all these people online, somebody would sleep. We keep getting one or two people sleeping, but not all of them. Yeah, it's weird because when I started playing on Shamblecraft around this time last year, it was towards the end of Season 2, and people were kind of losing interest, so I'm really not used to having a crowd on the server with me. Especially not one that's, like, actually doing things. I would pretty often have the server to myself, which made things a lot easier when building. Also made it hard to collaborate with people. I mean, not that I was doing too much of that. I was pretty self-sufficient last season. Oh, cool! I think we found a lush cave. I don't want to puncture it, so we're going to be very careful here. But yeah, last season, I was not particularly around for the big events. I mean, it could be worse. Yeah, I'm thinking of going and get like a moss block just while I'm here, or at least unearth it. Well, while I'm here, I'm definitely gonna unearth this. That's weird. We'll say one of the things I love most about this era of Minecraft updates is they're really giving you reasons to not just dig straight down. Like, you can dig around and look for things. And I think that's pretty cool. Oh, heck yeah, iron. Yeah, that's what it looks like when someone else does this. So in my critically acclaimed survival Let's Play series, I set forth a universal rule of Minecrafting regarding how much iron one should have to start. I took several takes to make that because I forgot to write down exactly the numbers that made sense at the time, but basically it works out to your minimum iron for self-sustainability is one sword, one pickaxe, shears, and a full set of armor except for boots. Which gives you 5 plus 8 plus 4 for the armor, plus 5 for the tools, plus 2 for the shears, plus 1 for flint and steel, which I did not say earlier. See, this is why it's hard. So 5 plus 8 plus 4 plus 5 plus 2 plus 1 gets you 8, 16 plus 9 gets you to 25 iron for self-sufficiency. See, this is why I had to write it down. And then I didn't. Cue John Mulaney quote. See, let's just fire up the iron. We should be fine there in a minute. Let's just deposit our winnings. Yeah, I could have used a spreadsheet too. In my Let's Play series, I did use I did have a blackboard I wrote things on. Unfortunately, I didn't keep the practice up, and those videos didn't do particularly well, so I did not continue that series. Still love the world, and I still will get back to it, but just my, I don't want to upload any more of it until I see that people actually like it. But yes, my universal theorem of Minecrafting comes in here. And we should have hit self-sustainability on that one. Let's just wait for that to cook up, and then we can call that good. And while we're doing this, I think I'm going to go find one more sheep. Because I am getting anxious looking at that hunger bar. And although it's not particularly hard to find this place from spawn, I still don't like doing it every time I die, so we're going to get a bed to make it so we don't have to make that journey again. Okay, let's make a tool. Oh no! Sucks about dinner. At least you were missing it for a good reason. Hanging out with me. So we're gonna call that a toolkit. Call that back up. Where's the gravel? We're working with gravel. Hey, we got it. Okay, we should be kitted out for what we have to do right now. Let's plant this on the way out. Let's go hunt a sheep. Oh, also, other new thing I got between streams. Little bamboo guy. And now we set sail. And we don't run into squids while we do that. Yeah, and the best part, it's on the bamboo raft. Okay. We picked a very nice spot on the river, I think. Particularly enjoy. Is that the sign of another person? Let's find out. Interesting choice to just not do elytra. I prefer elytra as a way of getting around. It covers more distance faster, but there is something about a boat. I do agree. Also, my limiting factor is I basically never have rockets, so that's how I mix it up. We've gotten repeated notices that people have been overextending the server, so I think I may not be able to get decent creeper farms going for a bit. So even if I do get an elytra in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be a bit before I can use it properly. Also, we still need to find a sheep. Come on, where is it? Where is the sheep boy? Come on, I just need to shave it. I hear it. Yes. Okay, here's how we're going to do this. Can't let it see you. It totally saw me. Quick. Okay. I got the sheep. Here come. I'm gonna blame that on you, Ace. You yelled in chat and now I got killed. Crap. Next time, don't be so loud. Well, that's never happening again. I do like that I was like whispering and then Ace just comes in all caps. Very perfect timing on that one. I appreciate it. Find it very funny. Yeah, we should have enough now. Just have to find our way back. Sorry. That was really good. Perfect timing. 10 out of 10, no notes. That was so funny. Okay, now we just have to swim around for a bit until we find the island. Hang on, where are the coordinates? Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Hang on. No, wait. How do I do this? Ace, the silliness increases exponentially when you're around, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the silly, goofy fun times. Now we just need to find where everything was. This is going to take a minute. So pardon me for exploring. However, do appreciate while we're doing this. Appreciate this pirate ship. This is apparently going to be the shopping district, which I'm excited for because I look forward to participating in a shopping district this time. Like I said, last season I was a little late and things are pretty established. All I could really do was occasionally walk into town with too much deep slate for my own needs. So hopefully this time around I'm a little more participatory in the economy, let's say. Okay, that looks familiar. Okay, are we around here? Hang on. I'm going to check the Discord because I put my coordinates in the Discord. Okay, we are nowhere near the coordinates, so let's close tab. Let's check coordinates again. Okay, go do that, Ace. You have a minute while we try to find our way back to base. We won't talk about you while you're gone. That's a lie, we totally will. So how about that Ace, everyone? Weird guy. I like him. Okay, good news. We have found our way back home. to this island. Really like the bamboo rafts. Yeah. That was really good. Like, I love that the funniest part of this stream we can't plan. Did I not replant? I appreciate that they did the thing. Very funny. I approve. What was I looking for? Oh. Yep. 1-to-1 always. Even if you're the WGA, the rule applies. Okay, that'd be funny actually. I should wait for the trees to grow to do that bit. Okay, we have some food. We did not make a bed. Chest not opening. That was a lag spike. What was I looking for? Wood. We officially cannot lose this base again unless something horrible happens inside. Oh no, I just jinxed it, didn't I? Oh, good. Okay, so that's Badger Spanner giving me a hard time, and me giving Badger Spanner a hard time. We all love each other here. Love Badger. Gazelles, hello. Oh, you're watching me and Pixelverse at the same time. I am deeply flattered to even be put in the same sentence as that man. Oh no, like Pixie Mage, not Pixel Riffs. Still deeply flattered. I love Pixie Mage. Don't tell Pixie I confused her with Pixel Riffs. I believe Ace is grabbing food right now, but I'm sure they'll be happy to see you. Oh. Missed my window. Okay. Now we're back in the mines. Ooh, salad. That's a good one. Okay, we're just gonna grab some gold so we can get that done. Because right now we're a little short on materials. So we're gonna fix that. Are we at the bottom of this thing? We're at the bottom of a lush cave, not the top? Could be. That's clay. I'm determined to do this without breaking clay. And I'm determined to get to whatever this is. Because, as far as I know, these don't just spawn. It looks like I'm being proven wrong, but these do just spawn. Sometimes. Well, of course I'm playing correctly. I'm digging out underground. You can't dig with an axe. Don't be ridiculous. I am tempted to just call this a wash and admit that this is probably just a spot of clay without any significance. Thing is, I have free cam and could pretty easily check. But that feels like cheating. Nola, that is a very compelling suggestion. I'm going to need to offer 3 supporting arguments for that. Oh, hey, we found it! Yo, we found it! We found that moss land. We found the mossy lands. The mossy menos. Ace, I just got an alert that you opened Hat in Time, so I don't know what you think you're doing. But we have moss now. So Noah, tempting as the argument is, I'm going to point out that we did just find some iron. So I'm going to take that first. Because as much of a fan as I am of torturing certain people in chat, I believe the need to get resources comes first. Okay, we might be out of torches. Okay, we're out of torches. And we have not explored this route at all. That sounds scary. So here's what we're going to do. So I believe this week, based on the results of the poll, I was supposed to talk about Crisis on Infinite Earths. It was pretty close. It was 3-2, with the 2 going to Secret Wars, which, I mean, yeah, I guess I didn't sell the Authority well. I did just buy the book, and it's fun. I feel like I could do something about it eventually, but, well, you voted for Crisis, so you're gonna get Crisis. So, yeah, where was I? Right, Crisis and Infinite Earths. So this one has a lot of lore leading into it. Big thing is DC Comics has been around since the 30s. Most people don't think about it with comics, but it's actually a big problem when your characters get too old, because if you're tying them to topical events, then over time it doesn't work. Over time, your characters have to age up, and they can't both be young and be in the events. I think I hit bedrock, by the way. So yeah, Crisis. So for example, the big thing with DC is all the major characters fought in World War II. And you can't possibly have a Batman who is active today and fought in World War II. The timeline just doesn't allow for it. Okay, good. Quick way back. Yeah, so anyway, timeline doesn't allow for a Batman who's both young today and fought in World War II. So the way around that for DC... Well, DC and Marvel both did this, but they have two approaches. Marvel, thanks to the MCU, most people know these days that their solution to Captain America being around World War II is to have him just get frozen in ice for longer and longer periods of time. So when the comics first came out, he got frozen in the 60s, or he got unfrozen in the 60s, but now he got unfrozen around 2004, 2005. No, I'm just like that, Noah. Oh, I need to actually, if I want to build hoppers, I should get a chest. Okay, yeah, so Marvel and DC have different solutions. Marvel's solution is to just make things happen later and later and avoid naming real events entirely. So, for example, when Tony Stark was first introduced, he got injured in Korea, and then they updated it to Vietnam, and then Afghanistan, and then they keep finding events to move it to. Recently, they did an event where they have a fictional war, so they can just avoid the question entirely of when things happened. And that solves the problem pretty nicely for them. DC's solution, on the other hand, is about once every 10 years to have a massive company-wide crossover where they reboot everything and just scale everything up at once instead of just forgetting about it over time. Yeah, what do I need? So, the first time they did this, it was actually in the 60s. Around the time the Silver Age started. The Silver Age of comics is when a lot of the characters were invented, and it's the version a lot of people think of when they think of characters. So, in the 60s, we had, where was I? Right. So, in the 60s, their solution was to reintroduce a bunch of characters like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and also make new characters like a new Flash named Barry Allen, and a new Green Lantern named Hal Jordan, and basically just start fresh and ignore the old stuff. But the problem is, people like the old stuff, and they were wondering what happened to the characters they'd grown up with. So, what they ended up doing was, they had an event where Barry Allen accidentally went to the place where all the 40s comics happened, and they called it Earth 2. So the two universes could coexist. The universe everyone liked was Earth 2, the universe where things were still happening is Earth 1, and that should solve the problem. And it did for a while. And people liked the multiverse, so they kept doing things with it. And they kept expanding the idea of the multiverse until you had Earth 3, which was where all the bad guys lived. I'm trying to think of any other notable ones. Earth 11 is the gender swap world, so that's fun. I honestly don't remember the old number system because it got really out of hand. The point is, the original multiverse numbering got really out of hand. So, yeah, what happened was, eventually, when they have hundreds of Earths, they realized this is unmanageable. And also, it was the 60s. Also, it was approaching the 80s. And DC was turning 40, and they were running out of time. They're running out of time to figure out how to keep the characters young again. So they decided, hey, let's do another thing about it. And their other solution at the time was the other thing going on at the time was DC was expanding by buying up a bunch of defunct comic companies. So there were three big ones we have to talk about here. Charlton Comics, which was home to a handful of random characters, including the Blue Beetle, Peacemaker, Captain Atom. People know Blue Beetle because he's about to get a movie. People know Peacemaker because James Gunn did the excellent. I can't say that, actually. Wait, never mind. No, I can't say people know. Oh, I can't say either of those. People know the Charlton characters roughly. And the other two were the Shazam catalog from Wiz Comics, and with Shazam and all of his associated characters, and of course Quality Comics, which had a variety of World War II heroes, including a superhero version of Uncle Sam. So those were some of the many characters DC had picked up over the years. And they decided they're going to use this reboot to put them all in one universe. And so that's how we get Crisis on Infinite Earths, a story where all these characters from all these different universes meet up, and at the end they exist in one timeline that makes sense for everyone. Now, Crises became a staple of DC after this. This was just the first one. And it's probably the best one, because it was made by somebody who really cares. The writer Marv Wolfman started researching for the comic in 1981, and it came out in 1985, so he had 4 years to research all the character histories going into this. And on the art side, we had George Perez, who is a legend in the comic industry. Unfortunately, died last year, but George Perez is excellent at drawing just massive crowds of characters. When they did a Marvel DC crossover, they got him. Like, that's the kind of guy this guy is. George Perez also did a great run on Wonder Woman that I haven't read, but I've been told is really freaking good. But yeah, George Perez, staple of the comic industry, people love him. So between Marv Wolfman and George Perez, and 4 years of research, we got to Crisis. And how to explain Crisis. Okay. So like I said, the premise of the story is that all these universes are colliding. And the mechanic for that, in this universe, is a wave of antimatter circling through the multiverse. So that's how the story starts, is we get introduced to a random world that, according to some reports, I have not been able to independently confirm this in a while, but I've heard a couple of times, and I'm inclined to repeat it even if I'm not 100% sure it's true. But apparently, the world that gets destroyed in the first page to sort of explain what's going on is the Marvel Universe. It doesn't really look like it. I don't see anything that is particularly Marvel about it, but legend has it apparently George Perez started this legendary DC comic by blowing up the Marvel Universe. Anyway, while this is going on, we get introduced to our first character unique for the event. This guy named Pariah. He walks around in a green cloak, has purple hair and pronouns. Pronoun thing I added for flavor, but purple hair is canon on Pariah. So yeah, he walks around in this green suit, really angsty about everything. He's really upset that he has to watch the universe die over and over and over again. You know, your standard Tuesday morning. So he's walking around talking about the universe ending as this universe ends. And then he gets sucked to the next universe to watch explode. He gets sucked to the next universe to watch explode. Which is one we actually know. It's Earth 3, as I mentioned earlier. Earth 3 is the one with all the evil versions of all the characters. So the Crime Syndicate's from here. I don't know how familiar you are with the Crime Syndicate. My frame of reference for figuring out if people know characters is usually naming movies, but considering it's all on strike, I'm just going to explain it anyway. Yeah, Crime Syndicate, Evil Justice League. Most important one to mention is probably the fact that the villains are good guys in this universe. And so the main hero of Earth 3 is Luthor, who is a version of Lex Luthor that's functionally Iron Man with a power suit. So Luthor is flying around watching the world end, and there's a moment we check in with the other characters from Earth 3, the Crime Syndicate, who are desperate to save their universe because even though they suck, they still want a universe to rule. So they gotta save it. But ultimately, it's useless, and they all die. However, we get a good moment on the way out with Ultraman, who is Superman of this universe, where in a great panel by George Perez, he looks directly at the camera and gives the most Superman smile as he boldly charges in to embrace his own end instead of letting the antimatter just casually take him. So, good art from George Perez there. That's a thing. However, the importance of the Earth 3 sequence is that it ends with Lex Luthor going to his wife, Lois Luthor. Yes. And as they confront their ultimate end, they decide the most noble thing they can do is save their child from dying on this doomed world. And so, they put their child, young Alexander Luthor Jr., into a pod and blast him off into the multiverse to avoid certain death. So, there you go. They did a Superman. So, do I wait for people to sleep? I think I wait. So yeah, Alex Luthor's pod flies through the multiverse, lands on, I think it's the moon in Earth 1. It's not quite clear what it is. I think it's supposed to be the moon. I don't know anything about Goku, so I'll take your word for it. I am, again, a bad nerd. I don't like this. I don't have. Well, let's throw some more in. Anyway, while that's happening, we cut to a mysterious figure who's only in shadows because he's shadowy and mysterious in shadows. And he tells this woman named Lila to go do him a favor and go gather the people he needs for the task that he's doing, that they've already discussed because he's a mysterious man off camera. And so she goes around the Earth 1 and Earth 2, and Earth 4 gathering characters. I say Earth 4 because Earth 4 is where the Charlton characters are and the DC thing. Charlton, again, the one with Blue Beetle and Captain Atom. They bought it. So yeah, DC bought it. So yeah, they put all the Charlton characters in Earth 4. That's why I didn't want to say it earlier because it's kind of a thing here that it's retconned. So yeah, so they go to Earth 4, get Blue Beetle. Miguel Stone is a alternate version of Spider-Man 2089. Little different from Blue Beetle. This Blue Beetle's name is Ted Kord. The one people know today is probably Jaime Reyes. Ugh. Jaime Reyes is the one that got much more popular. He became a character during Infinite Crisis, which is the sequel to Crisis in Infinite Earths, that I will get to eventually, but that's not this story. Oh, Lila is the is the mysterious man's assistant in this, not Miguel O'Hara's Lila. Very different. This one's also blonde, though. Yeah, so this Lila transforms in a very overwritten sequence into a character called Harbinger, and it's said that Harbinger can basically do standard superhero stuff, fly around, shoot lasers, that kind of thing, but the real gimmick is that she can split into infinite versions of herself. I think it's supposed to be tied to the number of universes that currently exist, so she is getting... Because the Monitor is definitely getting... yeah, mysterious shadowy figure guy's name is Monitor, I'll just say that now. The Monitor is getting weaker as this goes. As the universes collapse on themselves, so... I guess it's probably that's how it works too, but it's never explicitly said. Point is... Lila / Harbinger goes between the universes, picking up people. Oh, great having you here, Nola. Have a good time. Yeah, so Lila goes between the universes, gathering a bunch of characters, and it's actually Wolfman does a good job here of sort of getting the spectrum of characters that exist in the DC universe as it was in 1985. I have it here. He has a good job with it. He gets for heroes, he gets Firebrand, who is from Earth 2, but sort of like a later generation of it. I think late 60s when they went back to Earth 2 and started doing more things there. You get Solovar, who is a ape from the Ape City of Gorilla City, because of course. Can't tell if it's supposed to be a gorilla or an ape. Point is, Monkey Man. Gets Geoforce, who is from a fictional Eastern European country that's controlled by the Soviet Union, because again, Cold War. He gets Firestorm, who is a member of the Justice League at the time, but not like A-list like Superman. He gets the Earth 2 Superman, who is, of course, the first superhero from DC ever. Arguably the first superhero ever. I believe the timeline works out that he is the first superhero ever, but point is, this is the original Superman. He gets Arian, who is from some version of Atlantis, not the one that Aquaman's from, but like older than that. Ancient past stuff, like before Atlantis sunk underground. He gets Obsidian, who is the son of the Earth 2 Green Lantern. Earth 2 Green Lantern being Alan Scott, who I don't know if he's entered public consciousness yet, but sort of their first pass at the Green Lantern was to make a magic character with a magic lantern instead of a space character. But when they did Earth 1, they did the space guy that everyone knows. So yeah, Obsidian's here, his son. Cyborg from the Teen Titans at the time is here also. Dawnstar from the Legion of Superheroes, which is a 31st century superhero team that DC did for a while and still does actually. Apparently they're popular. I never really got into them. They're mostly tied to Supergirl lore, I think. And the modern Green Lantern, or modern from 1985, John Stewart, who is the third Green Lantern from Earth 1. First black character to have the mantle. So, that's fun. He's functionally the Green Lantern in this. So yeah, that's who he gets. Also, villains, sorry. Villains, we have Simon, spelled with a P, like Psy, who is telepathic and evil. Dr. Polaris, who can use magnets and is evil. And Killer Frost, who has a very unfortunate reason for being here, because she's a Firestorm villain. And to get her on their side, they had to use another character who's here, called the Psycho Pirate, to basically brainwash her into coming along by having her fall in love with Firestorm. It's not pleasant. Yeah, and that's the cast. Psycho Pirate is the other character here. He's probably the most important one of these because he ends up getting a lot more plots to do later and sticks around most of the story. A lot of these characters are here just to get things started, but Psycho Pirate's around for a while. So that's who we're dealing with for here. Don't worry if you don't remember any of the characters. The only one that's really important is Psycho Pirate. The rest are just kind of cool. This is DC history in one place. So immediately they get attacked by a bunch of shadows, as you do. One thing I love about comics is that sometimes things just happen and you have to just say, yeah, that sounds about right. And that's the case with them getting attacked by a bunch of shadow demon monster things. And nobody can hurt them, except kind of Obsidian, because Obsidian's powers also deal with shadows. And even then, they only do so much. But they all get saved by a brilliant flash of light, and the mysterious shadow man who is mysterious and shadowy steps out to reveal that he is the Monitor. Who is the Monitor, you ask? Some guy. He's bald and immortal. And they do get into his origins later, but he was a Mark Wolfman character who he had around for a while. Apparently, in Wolfman's Teen Titans, he was selling guns to people. Which, yes, this crazy multiverse-saving figure was selling guns to people, originally. And yeah, that's, so he, but now he's here. He's also, by the way, his original name apparently was the Librarian. That's what Wolfman wanted to call him originally, but that didn't fly, so they made it the Monitor. So yeah, the Monitor explains what's going on with all the universes collapsing on themselves. He explains that some mysterious enemy who's mysterious in the enemy. Wolfman's very big on not telling you things until he can get a dramatic reveal out of it. But some mysterious enemy who's the mysterious enemy is destroying universes with antimatter. And he has a plan to save Earths 1 and 2, but to do that, he has to have the heroes go to different times across those universes and protect giant towers as they, I don't know, help move the Earths out of the way or something. I don't know. They don't explain what exactly the towers do. Point is, the towers are there as a cool way to get to different time periods in DC's history. So much the same way we're getting all these characters from across DC history, now we get all the different times from DC history. They end up going to 5. The 5 are, in chronological order, Ancient Atlantis, which again is above ground and not really Atlantis as we know it, just kind of an ancient city with magic. Medieval England. Medieval England, but like Arthurian, so it's basically Camelot. The Wild West, so they can get all the cowboy characters in. World War II, which is fun because they put all the World War II characters in there. They had like 3 different teams of World War II characters, who I will talk about more because they're really funny and very mixed quality. So, World War II, what did I get to? I said Atlantis, Camelot, Wild West, World War II. Oh, and The Great Disaster, which is a DC post-apocalyptic setting that's, like, supposed to be, I believe, the 2500s, where, for whatever reason, society collapses and animals take over. Hey, Ace, welcome back. But yeah, DC has this recurring problem where whoever's writing a story cares more about the Great Disaster than anybody reading it does, because they keep coming back to it and nobody really cares, as far as I know. I'm sure the main character there, Kamandi, has fans, but I have not met a Kamandi fan. Point is, they keep doing this. The Kamandi thing is fun. They try to do some emotional stuff with him and Solivar, the sentient gorilla king, where he meets a nice animal for once and is inspired to trust people again or whatever. it's well written. Like I'm not going to deny that. I just don't care about commodity. But the fun thing that I want to talk about first, the World War II plotline here is they're in a fictional European country, and the ones they send there are Geoforce, who again is from a communist country, fictional. Hang on, gotta unfilza. I got filzed. Yeah, so they send Geoforce, who's from a communist country. They send Dr. Polaris, who again is a supervillain who's basically Magneto's powers. He is not Magneto, they're very different. Like, this guy's, as far as I know, not supposed to be sympathetic. I don't actually know because I've never read a comic. I've never read another comic with Dr. Polaris in it. But yeah, point is, Geoforce, Dr. Polaris, and Blue Beetle. So, Blue Beetle has its own kind of funny side plot. I don't think it was supposed to be funny, where they basically admit that the only reason he's there is the meta reason of needing a popular character from one of the companies DC bought, because he does not really serve a purpose here. He basically looks at the giant tower that the Modern sent them to protect and says, yeah, I have no idea how this works. And then he immediately gets hit by a shadow and almost killed. Or by a shadow demon and almost killed. And the Anti-Monitor says, yeah, I brought him here because I thought he'd be more useful, but I guess he's not, so I'll send him back. It's fine. It's very funny. Like, it happens repeatedly in this story that Blue Beetle is there because they need someone from Charlton, and no one's quite sure why Blue Beetle is the representative on a meta level. And I love Blue Beetle, probably one of my favorite characters that got integrated into the DC universe through this, but when you're dealing with antimatter universes smashing into each other, you could do better than a guy in a suit. Like, there's a reason they didn't get Batman for this mission. So yeah, Blue Beetle gets taken out immediately, but the main plot of the World War II part is, Geoforce gets dropped in his home country, Markovia, as it's getting invaded by Nazis. So he wants to go fight Nazis. So it's a great sequence where he's splitting his time between fighting the demons and also just punching some Nazis, which I like. I like when people punch Nazis. So yeah, that's what happened. So that's what happens to Geoforce. Also, we get to meet all the DC World War II characters, who are, again, a wide range of, let's say a wide range of quality. The three main groups there are the losers, who are, like, kind of this rough and tumble special forces group. They got the one-eyed captain, they've got the Native American sharpshooter, they got all the stereotypes. It's a thing. It's kind of like, they don't do much here, so I can't really make quality assessments on how they did with this stuff, but it's the 80s. Guess how the representation went. They're there. There are two other groups there. There is Sergeant Rock and I believe it's, I don't remember if it's actually, I don't remember what his group's called, but Sergeant Rock is basically DC's Nick Fury. During World War II, on the Marvel side, Nick Fury was not a spy yet. He was a soldier leading a troop of American soldiers through World War II Europe. So it's basically that guy. This is basically knockoff Nick Fury, but he's here. And there are several great scenes with him where something superhero related happens, and because he is a World War II soldier, he says, yeah, this doesn't make sense to me either, but, you know, at this point, whatever. I believe the exact line is, wars don't always make sense. He says it several times. By the way, I would like everyone to appreciate my reference to the WGA's struggles right now, as I do an NBC Universal and leave this tree as it is. Yeah, fine. Good. I'll get an axe. Yeah, so Sergeant Rock doesn't do much, but he's fun when he's there. Yeah, we're invoking Tree Law right now. That's right, we got Tree Law on stream. Unfortunately, Tree Law only goes so far, and I wish I was surprised by the fact that it only covered like $250, but you know what? What were we expecting? Okay, where was I? Right. So yeah, Sergeant Rock, that's one of the guys there. And the third group is probably the one that was the worst idea at the time, and has aged even worse. My favorite, because it's so bad, the Haunted Confederate Tank. There is no context I can give that will justify this, except apparently, and I've only seen it in this comic, there was a DC character at the time in the World War II catalog who rode around in a Haunted Confederate tank. Haunted by the ghost of Confederate General Jeb Stuart. And they flew a Confederate flag. And they just rolled around with the US Army because, for whatever reason, in the 80s, we thought that was a good idea. There's a Haunted Confederate General here. And you know what? If this was the last call of this era of DC, I'm glad we got one more in with the stupid Haunted Confederate tank. This comic is great. Yeah, he says, don't worry, I'm using an axe just for you. But yes, we have the Haunted Confederate tank with the ghost of Jeb Stuart in it, for some reason. And sure, fine, whatever. Anyway, it goes fine. Most of these missions go fine. The other plot-relevant thing from these missions to DC Easter eggs is the part of the Atlantis storyline where Psycho Pirate turns on everyone because his deal is he's kind of addicted to his powers, where once he can manipulate emotions. Once he starts manipulating emotions, he just can't stop. So yeah, he gets called in to do crowd control here, and he goes too far, and he immediately gets teleported away by someone. Specifically, the mysterious guy of evil who's mysterious over there in the corner, where you can't see him. So, Psycho Pirate gets kidnapped and turns evil. Which, again, we can say all these things about, hey, maybe you shouldn't write people as being addicted to their powers and turning evil immediately, but comic from the 80s, roll with it. Anyway. They set up the towers. It's fine. We get a couple other scenes before this whole part ends of, one of them involves Barry Allen, who at this point had moved to the future. The Flash. Barry Allen, of course, the Flash. Barry Allen, who had moved to the future, getting kidnapped also. And then we get a scene with Batman fighting the Joker, where, by the way, the Joker is trying to kill studio executives to steal the copyrights to make movies about the Pilgrims, which I think is funny that we're doing this during the writer's strike. Because he specifically name drops the Warner Brothers as people that he wants to be compared to when he can finally make movies by stealing movie rights, by killing people. So yeah, Batman stops him, and the Flash shows up while he's doing this and tells him that something bad and dangerous is coming, and an evil bad guy is dangerous and coming. You know the drill, standard ominous stuff. This becomes important later, that's why I'm mentioning it. And then also, after that, Batman talks to Superman about it, and Superman says he's noticed he's stopping more natural disasters lately. And then Batman goes to his other team, the Outsiders. And they have to go fight off the Antimatter in 1985 New York. The Outsiders are a team of superheroes. The Outsiders are a team of superheroes. It's basically Batman picked up a bunch of people who don't usually work well with others and said, hey, let's form a super team. It does pretty well. They keep bringing it back. The Outsiders roster at the time contains people like Black Lightning and Katana and Metamorpho. Katana's fun. She'll be important later, so I'm mentioning her now. Katana is, of course, a Japanese swordswoman who is from Japan and speaks Japanese. This is important later because it becomes a plot point that she speaks Japanese. So, after all this, the Monitor realizes, okay, we just lost Psycho Pirate. This is bad. And so he tells Lila to go prep. A backup plan that he has ready to go. That involves creating a new superhero entirely from scratch. This superhero shares a name with a existing villain, Dr. Light. This version of Dr. Light, however, is named Kimiya Hoshi. She is a scientist working in a Japanese observatory, and she gets hit with a burst of radiation that gives her light-based superpowers. She's also written to just be a complete and total asshole to all her employees before she gets her powers. And because this is the 80s and Marv Wolfman has some questionable views on writing women, unfortunately, this means that every character treats her like she's an irredeemable supervillain at first. And they keep saying things later in the story about how, oh, when we met her, Dr. Light started out as so evil and we couldn't trust her, but now she's learning the power of friendship. It's a thing. Could have been done better. But yeah, that's Dr. Light. So Dr. Light gets introduced, and she gets dropped in here because the heroes then, because the Outsiders in New York, or the Outsiders in New York, find a massive antimatter while approaching, and they want to start punching it, but Dr. Light gets sent to tell him, hey, don't punch the wall. Unfortunately, she only speaks Japanese, so no one knows what's going on, and they all start attacking her until Katana says, and I quote, "Have you all forgotten I spoke Japanese?" And so then she goes over and explains the situation, and then they're all on the same page. But still, they don't like Dr. Light. Still, it's a plot point. Other important thing that happens during this time period is when Harbinger's out doing something, one of her pieces gets corrupted by this mysterious evil, shadowy force of evil, and she turns evil. But she's hiding it, and so she's walking around for a lot of this part of the story. Every time the Monitor tells her to do something, she says okay, and then she thinks, yeah, I'm gonna do this, but I hate you now, so little do you know that I hate you and I'm going to kill you. And she keeps saying this in her head as she's doing things. And this comes up because her next task is to go get the baby Luthor from earlier. And the baby Luthor at this point has aged into a preteen, because of course he's aging fast, because as we all know, when you travel near an antimatter wall and between universes, that means you age faster and become smarter. So, yeah, Luthor's growing up, and the Monitor is talking to him about the multiverse and all the things going on, so he knows the plans. And all this comes to a head at the end of chapter 4, which is where we're going to leave the story for today, where Pariah teleports into the Monitor's base. Sorry, Pariah teleports into the Monitor's base, and the Monitor explains, "Oh yeah, I knew about you. Basically, your power is you go wherever there's the most danger in existence, which means that as this anti-wall comes, you go to wherever that is. And also, you can't die. And I'm sorry about this, but I kind of needed you for this, so we're gonna go with that now." And Pariah is upset about the fact that he's been condemned to walk a dying multiverse forever. But the Monitor says, "I tell you more, but a bunch of stuff's about to happen, so whatever happens next, don't get too mad at Lila." And so then, of course, Lila walks in and says, "Haha, Monitor! You didn't know, but secretly I've been evil this whole time, and I'm gonna kill you now." And the Monitor says, "I knew." And then Lila says, "No, you didn't," and kills him. It's basically like that. Maybe a little more dramatic. She doesn't say, "No, you didn't," but that's basically the scene is, "I'm evil, and I was gonna kill you now." And Monitor says, "Yeah, I knew." So Pariah is very confused by everything that's happening right in front of him. But then Lila reverts back into her normal form and is now cured of the possession, because apparently the bad guy only wanted to possess her for this one thing and didn't want her around generally. And she freaks out that she killed what's essentially her father. It's explained that he basically raised her. And she's freaking out about it. But then all of a sudden, a recorded message pops up where the Monitor says, "Yeah, Lila, I knew you were possessed and knew you were going to do this, but you had to do it. So I set things up so when you did this, it would activate the machine that activated the towers that sucked Earth 1 and 2 into a pocket dimension where they can't be killed by antimatter." And Alex Luthor walks in, and he's now he's an adult, by the way, because again, you just age faster when you travel through universes and get exposed to antimatter. And he explains that the Monitor told him all this was going to happen, and he knows what they have to do next. And that's where part 4 leaves off, and I'm going to leave it there because I feel like breaking it into 4 issues at a time is a reasonable amount to cover. But yeah, that's part 1 of 3 of Crisis on Infinite Earths, as told by JoJo. Any questions? Anything I need to go back to? Yeah. I really do like this comic. I think it's a good encapsulation of everything DC had going on in 1985. And I'd say from a historical perspective, it's a very important comic to read. Like, in terms of the grand story of DC, this is probably one of the most important things you can know if you want to get into comics. Yeah, now that you mention it, I don't think I've heard this Minecraft song either. Interesting. But yeah, Crisis, hugely important in DC history, hugely important in comic history. It was one of the first events. It tied with Secret Wars for that honor. The 1985 Secret Wars, not the 2015 Secret Wars. There's differences, you know, because you have listened to this show before. But yeah, it's hugely important in how it's hugely important in comic book history for all the things it introduced. It spawned the idea of these annual big crossover mega events, along with Secret Wars. Both happened around the same time. But yeah, yeah. That's basically the importance of this story. Also, it's big and dramatic, and it's fun in a way I like, even if it does have stupid things in it. But that's one of the things I like most about comics, is the ability to get you to care about things that just sound incredibly dumb. Like a guy named Blue Beetle getting attacked by shadows. It's one of the things I love about this medium. Yep, me too. Comic history. It's important if you're a nerd. And I'm trying to figure out how much I can say about this under strike rules. Let's just say people really want to do Crisis in other media because it's the biggest story. It lets you get in the most lore and the most cameos. And if you get a DC universe to a place where you can do a good Crisis in Infinite Earths, then you have a good version of the DC universe, because it means you have enough characters running around, enough lore running around, that you can blend it all together into a coherent story. So people have tried. People want to try. It doesn't always work. But your end goal, if you're running any kind of DC universe, is to do a Crisis. Like, even DC Comics tries to do crises every 10 years. Yeah, it's partially to keep characters young, but also, if you can get every character you have on a page together, that's a good selling point. So, even DC is trying to rip off the Crisis. But they create it. I love the Ace New. It's great, great emote. Oh, I see what you did there. You referenced the game that you got. That's funny. I mean, it's a good game from what I've seen of you playing it, even if it is scary by your own account. Oh, nice! Look, Look, if it were me, I probably would have beaten the whole thing today. I can be very normal at video games when they're new and fun. There's a reason I could play Portal 2 in one sitting. Oh my god, why would you put the Wii Shop theme on a playlist? That's on you. Sorry, but it is. You can't put the Wii Shop theme on a playlist and expect to take it seriously. Okay, we have lava for when we need it, but I would like to get diamonds before I get lava. Okay, so you've played the game a satisfactory amount. Luckily, I think you also have the DLC, right? Yeah, you have the DLC. Okay, I believe you have enough enrichment for the next couple weeks. Hey, diamonds! Let's not die. We're gonna die. We're gonna die. Nice! So, good news, we found diamonds. Bad news, died doing that. Let's get that diamond. We got diamonds to get, and we're not stopping until we get them. Come on, people. Down into the mines we go. Was it this way? Nope. Trying to remember where the diamonds was is a whole thing. Geode. Yo, look, we got a geode. It's ours now. We claim it. Is this a guppy geyser? I think we found a guppy geyser. No, don't be. Ah. I don't like you. Hey, extra sword, nice. Where are you? Die. No, you die. That was mean. This diamond better be worth it. Hey, Zelz, you still there? Just want to check before I do something. Yeah, Zelz isn't responding. I'm not sure if they're in chat or just left. I could believe either. I know probably with Pixie right now. Hate it when the kids are over at mom's. Where are you? Well, I know one way to check if Zel's is here. Look, you picked your own playlist, Ace. I don't know what to tell you. If your playlist is not to your liking, that's kind of on you. You can make your own playlist. Okay, we're gonna light up this area first because I'm tired of the zombies. No! Someone does not want me to buy this diamond. Well, we got a diamond at least. That's something. Could be worse. It was 1 diamond. And I died 3 times trying to get it. It makes for good hashtag content. Well, I think that's a successful mining session. That was a diamond that we went through our own hard work. Blood, sweat, and tears and all. Okay, let's pick up a bit more sugarcane. So, that feels like we've accomplished the narrative goal of the stream. We've had some success. We finished the, mandatory comic recap that no one's asking for except me because it's fun. What do you say? What do you say we do now for a bit of fun before we end stream? I think we walk in a circle. Yeah, let's go. So as always, I feel obligated to thank my sponsors, the Writers Guild of America and SAG-AFTRA. They have not paid me money, but, you know, it's important to support strikers. And, of course, word goes out to the good UPS Teamsters for negotiating what could be a successful contract and thus avoiding the complete shutdown of the American Postal Service, which is nice from a consumer perspective. And is probably the goal we should be hoping for. So yes, good work to the Teamsters. Hope the airline pilots get a similar deal. Hope the writers and actors get a similar deal. I support them, and I will continue to not talk about movies or TV on stream until they have gotten their due. I will talk about comics, and vaguely imply they're really good adaptations, that, gee, it'd be great if the people who made them got compensated, but I'm not going to talk about the adaptations. I'm going to talk about the comics. Very different. Carrots. Ironically, I hate carrots in real life, but in Minecraft, they're one of my favorite foods. Because they're so renewable. Okay, let's light up a bit more of the island. Okay, let's hope somebody else sleeps so we can do this properly. Heck yeah. Okay, and on that note, I believe it is time for me to say, once again, that I am, of course, JoJo997, your default favorite Minecraft streamer. It has been an absolute pleasure streaming with all of you tonight. I hope you come back next time for some more fun in the mining and crafting worlds, and also part 2 of our recap of Crisis on Infinite Earths.